the realms of the dead. We live in a realm, in a space of time where everybody dies. Time is dominated by death. And the minute death cannot dominate us, then time will be no more. Jesus is at the right hand of the Father, and He's waiting patiently till all the enemies are under our feet. And He clearly says, the last enemy is death. So the Bible is literally a book about life and death. Adam missed the mark and died spiritually, but Cain killed his brother, and Abel was the first one that physically died. And from then, everybody that ever was born died. There's no product and there's no medicine that can stop death, and you cannot create life and give a spirit. You can clone people, but you can't give them a spirit. True life can only come from the one that gave life. This is why God Himself gave Himself and tasted death for all. And He abolished death and brought life and immortality. However, we still die even though God abolished death. But Revelation 14:13, He says, blessed are those who die in Christ. They rest from their labor and their works follow them. Martha said to Jesus clearly, I know that you will raise us up in the last day. And Jesus said, well, if you live and believe in me, you don't have to die. And this is the only time Jesus actually preached immortality to someone. He is the resurrection and the life. Whether you live or die, you belong to Him. And death has just become an extra change. But the realm of dead, we need to understand. We live in a time where there's so many people that say there is no hell. Hell is this word and that word. And it's like everybody talks, but we need to really understand what is the realms of the underworld. So in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Who created hell? Where is hell? Who goes to hell? What is happening there? Now, the first time we read about death is God said, do not eat. In that day you'll die. The minute Adam ate, he died spiritually. He didn't die physically. So the first person that died physically was when Cain killed his brother Abel. And then the ground started to cry for blood. But God said, Cain, do not open that door. But Cain went right on, killed his brother, and it opened the door to the pit. This was a place of preservation where the ground cries for blood. This place is called Sheol or Hades in the Greek. Everybody before the cross that died went to this place because the price of sin was not paid yet. They were awaiting the judgment. Every time Jesus taught on death, it had to do with a man named Lazarus. First, He spoke about Lazarus and the rich man, and Lazarus landed on the bosom of Abraham, revealing that this place of preservation had two parts. One on the bosom of Abraham, and the other one a place of torment. And Revelation calls this death and hell. In Revelation it says it's time that death and hell should be judged, and those that are not in the Lamb's book of life. This was a place where everybody went, good, bad, ugly. Those that were in the covenant, they were on the bosom of Abraham. But everybody awaited judgment. And this brings us to election. Because before the cross, God chose a nation and the others were dogs. He hardened Pharaoh's heart, and Pharaoh went to hell. It was prophesied about Judas that he was going to betray God. These people had no choice. It was election unto the purpose of the cross. The cross brought the Reformation, where there is no more election, there is no more nation, there is no more gender, and there is no more race in the spirit. So the cross brought the change. Cain opened the door to this place, but Jesus became the door to life. he that ascended is he that descended. And he went down and he preached to those that were disobedient in the days of Noah. Jesus opened the doors of the prison. Jesus died on the cross, but the earth shook and the doors opened. Job says, do you know that hell has gates and death has doors? He opened the doors and he shattered the gates. The gates of hell shall not stand against the Christ. Those that died before had to hear the good news first. And they came out and formed the clouds of witness. And those that were not accepting were judged, and they were not in the Lamb's book of life. That place was emptied. And then came the judgment of the world, 70 AD. So we need to understand judgments too. From Babel, nations were formed. And the greatest nation ever was Babylon and the king of Babylon. And now Israel had to be taken because they wanted a king. So they had to be taken to the biggest king ever. 70 years they were in Babylon, a complete time that God worked with him. And then 70 years of 7 were upon the people, upon the city, and upon the temple. And Revelation picks it up as seals, trumpets, and vials. 70 AD, removing the sacrifice system that became an abomination to God. Babylon marked the point of the judgment of nations, and all the trees were chopped down till only one branch remained. The branch that came out of the stem of Jesse. The Spirit of God is on him, the Spirit of wisdom, understanding, counsel, and might, knowledge, and the fear of the Lord is restored. And this tree is also the candlestick because it becomes the church in Revelation 1. On the cross, the tree of life was nailed to the tree of curse, so we can become branches engrafted. We are not trees, we are branches engrafted in Christ. Our sap comes from him. 70 AD, the eternal lake of fire is opened, and the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet, and all those whose names are not in the book of life is thrown. We are to understand the judgment. Babylon was the first judgment of the world. Then came the judgment of sin, the cross. Then came 70 AD, the judgment of the world and the wicked generation. And now we are in the kingdom in front of the white throne judgment, which is the fire of the Spirit in our hearts, cleaning us up, where the wood and the hay and the stubble burn, so that we do not have to be judged again. Jesus took our judgment, and we are not going to land there. But the level you exit is the level you enter. Time is where we can grow in the kingdom. We have to go up the mountain. We can't keep circling the mountain. And because of the time we are in, we experience the greatest churn ever in history. It's a very crazy time of turning. Dark, dark, dark. And it seems like the world is crazy and they've gone crazy with money, but darkness will destroy itself. And we don't have to do it. The only way we can get rid of darkness is shine the light. It's time that we be and not just do, and understand there are two realms working in the same plane, and we are not from beneath, we are from above, but we are still in time. The whole of creation is waiting for us to step into our purpose.